Get my computer up, but it says you are live, bro. It says we live, bro.
Let's get it, man.
How bees it, man? How bees it?
It's been well, man. I'm always resting. Fridays are my day off, so you know me, bro. I be resting, bro.
For sure.
Rest is
For sure.
important, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm a young buck,
Just as
but
important.
I
Yeah.
learned I learned that you gotta take a break.
Yep. If you want your body to take care of you, you definitely got to take care of it. You know what I mean?
I'm
That
trying
is
to
for
tell
sure. For
you.
sure. That's for sure. For sure.
I'm trying to tell you.
Well, yeah, man. A lot has been going on in the just the climate in general. A lot has been going on, but uh, the reality is we still have to be able to come together and have conversations.
Yes,
You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree.
So yeah, we matter of fact, this all started from a conversation earlier when I was doing a Breakfast Club live,
Hmm.
and we were just I put four topics and let the viewers pick the topics, and they picked um, spirituality.
Mm,
They picked spirituality or spiritual health. They picked spirituality or spiritual health, and we just started talking about it. We had different people with different thoughts, different points of view, but ultimately, everybody was respectful. Nobody was in there talking crazy, so it
hmm.
turned out to be a great conversation.
That's good.
Um, but as time went on, I'm like, you know what, man, this has to be a conversation because I think so many people are on the fence about spirituality. I think some people think it's unnecessary. Some people think it's necessary, but they don't know how to live it out. They don't know. They hear so much things about politics in the church. They hear so many
Yeah.
things about um, just the negatives of spirituality.
Hmm.
But you don't really hear. You hear more of the bashing than you hear people actually saying that spirituality is something that's healthy. You know what
That's
I'm
true.
saying? So
That's
yeah,
true.
let's delve into that a little bit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about um, do we need it? Do we need spirituality? So I'm gonna let you have the floor. You can bust the questions. You can bust. You can
Yeah.
have the floor and go from there.
And and I appreciate that, Will. And the important thing about tonight is the conversation, right? There's a lot learned from conversation.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of information that gets dug up, stones that get overturned when people have conversations. So I appreciate you having these type of lives where people can bounce ideas off. You can disagree with people, but learn
Right.
their perspective and learn from them and see how this
Right.
thing is rocking. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
when you ask, do we need spirituality? In my personal opinion, or is it important? I
Yeah.
think spirituality is very important. Um,
Mm.
I kind of use it in a very simplistic term. I tell people oftentimes where humans, we are very finite. We are very limited in our ways, right? We can go to the gym and lift, but we only can lift so much, right? We can
Yeah.
start multiple businesses and make a lot of money, but we only can make so much money, right? You can
Hmm.
train to run, but you only can get so fast, right? So I'm
Yeah.
a really big advocate of depending on the only thing that is guaranteed in this life to be 100%, which is God, right? Something
Mm.
bigger than ourselves. Because again, I mentioned this in one of our lives that we had before, it takes the pressure off the human being of having to know everything, to do
Mm.
everything, to accomplish everything, to be everything, right?
Yeah.
It gives God the opportunity to be God, to be sovereign, to be all knowing, to be omnipotent. You're everywhere at once. You see everything on the earth. You know all of that. And I think the reason that ties into spirituality being important because it gives you comfort for some of the questions that may be unknown, that we may never know, right? That we shouldn't be stressing about or trying to think ahead of because we understand that there's a God who exists who is in control of what happens around us. So I think that's important to our spiritual health because again, it gives us that peace, it gives us that comfort, it gives us that sense of love, it gives us that sense of sheltering that we would not get from elsewhere.
Otherwise, right?
Otherwise, that's the word. Thank you. Yeah,
No problem. So let me ask you this. Let's we might as well start off with the bangers, right?
yeah.
Oftentimes, people that say spirituality is unnecessary, they'll say, "Well, how do you know which is the right God?"
Oh, you're asking a question.
Yeah, that's what they'll
Oh,
say.
I thought it was
They'll say,
rhetoric. Oh, yeah.
"No, that's what they'll
Oh,
say."
well,
They'll say, "How do you know which one's the right God?" You're saying we need spirituality.
yeah,
How do I know that? First of all, how do I know there is a God?
yeah.
And second off, how do I know which one's the right God? So let's start with the first one. How do we know there is a God
No problem. I'll tackle
for
it and
there
then
to
I'll let
be?
you go right after me before you ask your next question. All right.
Sure. Mhm.
So to me, how I know there is a God, it's all around us. That's like asking, how do I know that there's oxygen and I can't see it? Right? How do I
Mm,
know I'm inside of my home right now? I'm breathing. I can't see oxygen, but I know that it exists, right? So I think
mhm,
that the creations around us, the earth, the trees, the birds, the water, the sun, the stars, the clouds, everything that you see around us when you walk outside is evidence that a God exists, right? That is
mm,
evidence that back to humans being limited, we did not create the clouds, we did not create weather catastrophes, right? Um, so it's just simple scientifically based stuff like that that makes me believe God exists, right? Somebody has to make sure that the sun is coming up and then the sun goes down, right? Someone is making sure that we have summer and then it gets cold and we have winter and then we have spring, right? For some odd reason, the earth is made up of 75% of water, yet for some reason, I don't understand why the water just stops at the seashore, right? The water just stops at the seashore. Where what is stopping the water from encroaching, right? In the islands in a peninsula like Florida and Washington and all different places around the world, right? But what's your take, Coach?
mm. So are you saying just so we're clear, just so
Yeah.
everyone's clear, are you saying that because you see intelligent design that makes you believe in a designer?
Yes. That is exactly what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Okay. So basically, because someone could counter argument and say, well, what about just science? What about the science explains everything you just said? So why can't we just stick with the science? Why do we even need to believe in a creator if the science says everything you just said?
Well, the thing about the science, and this is coming from a guy who before I had the major now did science, is that the science is based off of uh, like theory, right? Which is
Hmm.
a theory is a claim that's based off substantial amounts of evidence, but it's not necessarily true. But in theory, it is based off evidence. Like this evidence is so strong that there is a strong chance that this may have happened, right?
Hmm.
Or that this may have occurred, but it's not concrete or set in stone. Again, back to us being limited, we can only go so far to make theories, right? So even theories are not 100% in nature, but God is, because scripture suggests
Okay.
that, God is not a man, so he can't lie. It's not
Right.
in his
So what?
nature.
So let me ask you this:
Mhm.
What if a person? What if a person says, "Okay, I hear what you're saying about Scripture, but I don't believe in Scripture. Can you prove, or why do you think there's a God before you read a religious book?" What if you're presented with that question?
And
Why do you believe there's a God without your religious book telling you that?
and I'm glad that you asked that question. I think it kind of, circled me back around to the intelligent design, right? If I was let's just say in a sense I was agnostic, right? Didn't really know kind of what I believed in necessarily. I just know that I exist in my body. My family exists. I live in a house. I have a job, car, and everything like that. Um, Again, like and you said it perfectly. When I see the
Hmm.
design of the planet, right? Like and you said it, you worded it perfectly. If you don't mind me just saying what you said, an
Sure.
intelligent design, right?
Hmm.
It's intelligent design. Something like this cannot happen by chance. So if we want to just sub out scripture, right? Sub out biblical literature text, just in the design in itself, right? Even as someone who may not just understand what's going on, I know that okay, there's something greater than humans that exists, right?
Hmm.
That why this is all here. That's what I feel like I would think. Like if I was in a country that had no access to Bibles or didn't have access to ministry or something, and I didn't even know what Christianity was, because I'm like in a country that has a main religion other than Christianity, I would think, okay, there's some type of God that exists for all of this to happen. What's your take on this?
Right. Most other countries that don't believe in Christianity, they still believe in higher powers for the most part.
Hmm.
So they still believe in higher powers
Hmm.
as a religion in those countries. So they're not arguing. Other countries won't argue if there is a God. Most other countries will argue who's the right God, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. So when you say what's my take? What's my take on?
On if how would you prove to someone that God exists, um, absent of scripture, or like how would you present that answer to someone who asks, how does God exist?
Okay, so for me, I heard it explained the best way for me to understand
Hmm.
was I call God the uncaused first cause. So one thing I don't do is if a person doesn't believe the same thing I do, I don't
Hmm.
present to them things they don't believe in. I
Hmm.
present to them things that are middle ground.
Hmm.
So the middle ground would be the uncaused first cause. Everyone gets to that question. How did all of this begin? How did life begin? How did nature start? Why is everything even happening? What's the meaning of life? I
Hmm.
feel like when you look at that longing, that desire to belong, that desire for more, I believe that um, a creator is the answer for it. You understand what I'm saying? A
Hmm.
creator is the answer for the longing or the
Hmm.
uncaused first cause, right?
Hmm.
Because again, I always tell people this: I never see any great building inside of any country, whether you go to Dubai, whether you go to Japan, I don't see any great architecture and say, oh my goodness, that building disappeared. I
Hmm.
never do that. I mean, oh
No.
my goodness, that building, man, it's lovely how buildings just appear. Usually design equals designer. So
Yes.
I go from that approach, and just because I try to find middle ground.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The middle ground is, can the science point to a god or a higher power? Can the science point to it? And I believe that a lot of scientists that have tried to explain the uncaused first cause, that's how they became believers, because they're like,
Hmm.
look, this I understand everything up until this point, but I can't
Hmm.
tell you why at this point.
Makes 100% sense.
And I see your comment says, can you explain the uncaused first cause? So we all hear about the Big Bang Theory, right?
Yes.
So the uncaused first cause would be what caused the bang? What caused the
Okay.
bang? What made it bang?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like at some point, like okay, you got the what came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah.
Something came first, bro. Even if we
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So what is it that made it bang, and why did it bang?
For sure.
That's what we call the uncaused first cause. Something
Mm.
caused it to happen, right? And there has to be a beginning
Hmm.
that wasn't caused by something else.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like something had to start it.
Mm.
We don't look at anything that's moving, that we don't look at anything that is in motion and say nothing started the motion.
Hmm.
It goes against the laws of nature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just in general, even if
Yes.
a person, like I said, doesn't believe in a belief system, it just goes
Hmm.
against the law of nature in general.
That makes sense.
You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I understand all the hiccups when it comes to spirituality. I understand why some people believe. I understand why some people don't believe. Um, I just
I got a
enjoy the
question.
conversation.
Hmm. And I got
Go
a
ahead.
question for you.
Mhm.
So I got a question for you. So let's say someone comes and asks you, Well, coach, I enjoy church culture. I enjoy dressing up on Sundays, having lunch after church on Sundays. You know, I love the worshiping. I love being in fellowship with other believers in the church.
Hmm.
But I don't feel the spirituality that you're speaking of. But I'm a churchgoer. I go to church every Sunday. I listen to the word. I worship. I leave. It's Sunday night football, but I don't feel the spirituality. What would you explain to that person? Because they're kind of confused because they're thinking, well, if I'm going to church Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, I'm singing worship songs, I'm listening to the word. Maybe I help with the children's church in the back. Like, why am I not feeling this spirituality that Grow Gang is speaking of? How would you help them navigate that?
Well, are they assuming that a place is responsible for the feeling of their spirituality?
Yes, they are assuming that.
So that's an assumption. An
Mm,
assumption doesn't mean truth, right?
yeah.
So you can go to a place, any place can put a sign up that says, "Hey, spiritual building," or "Hey, church," or whatever. You can put a sign on anything.
Hmm.
The sign does not indicate the content. You go in, right? It's
Hmm.
almost like a box of crackers, right?
Hmm.
You got to open the box, right? You don't just see
Yeah.
the box, look at the box, and you're like, oh my goodness, those crackers taste good. You got to
Yeah.
open them and you got to taste them. You got to try them, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say is, if a person goes to a place and they don't feel it, two things could be happening. They're either not open to feeling it, or where they're going doesn't have anything to feel.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
want to only say the place is bad, because a person may just not be open to it. They
Yeah.
may be, open to the routine, but they may not be open to what's supposed to radiate out of the routine.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because routine is not the same as radiating.
Can you dive into that real quick?
Yes, I can go to the gym as a routine, right?
Hmm.
Um, but it's not indicative of me getting optimum results. When I'm at the gym, am I really applying what I'm learning?
Hmm.
Am I changing up my workouts, or am I going through the same mundane routine because I don't really want to be there? I'm just there to because I think I'm supposed to be there. It's the
Hmm.
healthy thing to do. So I'm present, but I'm not. I'm not open. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
So, yeah, I think anyone can go through the motions on anything: relationships, church, their job. I mean, just to name a few.
And do you think if we keep pressing in that action, maybe like the gym example you use, if you keep going to the gym or if you keep going to church, do you think that you would eventually feel the desire to be open, or do you think it starts with finding the desire to be open and then practice, or is it pushing through the practice and then maybe you find a way to be open, right?
Um, Anything can happen either which way you flip it, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, a person has to be open to whether it's life teaching them, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
or whether it be, it's just their time. They feel like, hey, there's something tugging my heart, or like, there's something I need to be open to. Regardless, it's the individual's heart that needs to be open to any of that.
Hmm.
No one can make a person want something. It's up to the individual to either have a life event that says, "Hey, I need something deeper," or they could just get an point in their life where they feel like they checked off all the boxes,
Hmm.
and that's the only box they didn't check. I was at that point in my own life where
Hmm.
I felt like I checked a lot of boxes off,
Hmm.
but I still felt a sense of emptiness
Hmm.
that made me want to explore something beyond myself.
That makes
Yeah,
sense. So,
you know.
and
Mhm.
Now, another question I have is spirituality a feeling or is it like a state of being? Right? Are we trying to feel spirituality or is our spirituality something that, you know, an innate like we need to be spiritual? Like how do you
Got it.
like what's your take on that?
So I think that I think you become something, then you do something. So I think oftentimes people don't feel spirituality because they do to become.
Hmm.
And when you do to become, it doesn't, it's not always indicative that you will become, right?
Hmm.
But when you become something, then you'll do it because it's what you are.
Mm,
So I'll give you a prime example, right? I don't pray to become spiritual. I pray because I am spiritual,
mm,
right? Just
got
me
you.
praying doesn't make me spiritual, or just me going to a religious organization that doesn't make me spiritual. But you become spiritual, and then you do spiritual things.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm understanding.
So I think way too often, and a lot of times it's because a lot of times people become more spiritual when they're going through a hardship,
Hmm.
and they feel like they need that aspect, they need that fulfillment, right? They're going through a
Mm,
rough time, they just went through a breakup, or they got some debt that just piled up, and they're like, man, I need to tap into this spirituality, or I need God, or I need, you know what I'm saying?
facts. I need to log
Um,
back in.
right. So with that being said, that individual is not that individual is not really open per se to really becoming spiritual.
Hmm.
It's mostly can it happen for them? Sure, but it's mostly a choice before it's an action.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, check this comment out.
Oh,
Chase put in.
what's going on, Chase Christian? Let's look at this comment, man. How you doing today, brother? I think spirituality is a concept for people searching for meaning, purpose, aliveness, stuff like that. I totally agree with that. What do you think about that, Jock?
Yeah, I think that's really the root of it, right? Is people and if let's just talk about spirituality universally, is people kind of looking for what is my God-given purpose, right?
Right,
What is what why am I here? Right? Outside of my 9 to 5, outside of being a husband, a brother, a mother, a sister, an uncle, what is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Right?
right,
So it's them trying to look for that in it. So I agree with Chase Christian. I think that that's where the search of spirituality comes from, right?
right.
So, but I have a question to add to go on top of what Chase Christian is saying, right? So,
Uh huh.
people begin their spiritual journey when they're looking for their meaning, right? Purpose. Why am I
Hmm.
alive? Why am I here? And what
Uh huh.
happens is, you know, sometimes people, I feel like people are looking for that sense of spirituality, but they don't want the accountability that comes along with it. So what people do is they kind of create their
I
own
get where you're going.
definition of spirituality. They create their own definition of who God is or the high power is. They give their own they start to create their own definition, right? It becomes like a individual thing. Um and I think a lot of times in spirituality, um it cannot be absence of connecting with people, right? In my opinion, I think a part of spirituality is rooted in the connection of people, and that's why spirituality usually is tied with accountability. But when people don't want the accountability part, now they just start creating definitions to fit their world, right? The rules that only apply to them, right? So that's
Hmm.
how you kind of get that like you just get like everybody believing in what they believe in, right?
So, what if a person says, if I want to be spiritual, what's wrong with me believing what I want to believe?
See, the problem that I have with people wanting to believe what they want to believe is like what
It's a
is the
good
moral
question.
compass? What is the moral
Uh huh.
compass?
Uh
Right?
huh.
Like what is the standard of good and bad? I
Mm.
think that's my thing. I'm gonna let you read this and I'll continue.
Okay. No, finish that. You said, what is the
Okay.
moral compass?
Yeah, I'm saying, what is the moral compass? What is the standard of being good and bad, right? If people can believe what they want to believe, right? And I don't mean to like be kind of graphic, but then that's almost saying like to s- to some people, rape is a bad thing. To some people, rape is rape.
Mm.
It's, you know what I'm saying?
So are you saying that when it comes to spirituality, we need morality, like morality has to be a part of the conversation?
It has to. It's actually
Mm.
required. It's required, right? And people
By
try
who?
to like it's required by God.
Okay.
It's required by God, right? And
Okay.
that's where you when you're rooted in something that's greater than yourself, it also takes the pressure out of you holding the scales of what is good and bad, right? And it's for God to tell us what's good and bad. But when you try to take the morality part out, the accountability part out, right, the connection part out, what you start to do is you start to create your own moral compass. And then now when something happened, well, you try to justify stuff that is not okay. So that's the problem
Okay.
with believing on your own, what you want to believe.
Got you. Got you. Okay. I'll take the comments and then we'll keep going.
Mhm.
It says, yeah, so true. People go in certain things for their own reasons. Like people go to church for different reasons. We'd like to think other people are like minded, but that's not always the case. Very, very true. Not always the case. They do go to church for different reasons. That's very, very true, Chase Christian.
Yeah.
100%. The reason why I asked when it comes to um, like whose rules or whose standard, right? I think like okay, let's look at this comment. It says it's never going to be on one page because everyone's morals are different. Just like just like the thought of everyone's God is different. Um, it's never going to be on one page. Okay, I
Like
got you. I got you.
everybody's not going to be on one page, he's saying.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. I think that's the reason why people don't dip into spirituality in the first place because they feel like because there's so many different pages, it's hard to kind of get to a place where we agree, if you will. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like it's hard to like okay, when it comes to sports, we can talk about sports. There's a good player, he's a good player, he's a bad player, we can debate it, no harm, no foul. I mean, they go crazy with that too. You just check on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? They go crazy with
Yeah.
that too. But it almost feels harmless. Something like spirituality, it feels more deep. Most people don't want things that are deep. They're like, listen, that's too deep. Let's stay on the surface. I don't want to deal with it. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
Because there is so many different intricate pieces, but I feel like why not just talk about them and build on them? I think that when you have intellectual conversations, not only are you exercising your brain, but you're also exercising your ability to be able to connect with others. What a beautiful opportunity to exercise your mind and exercise how you get along with others. It's a beautiful opportunity, but I think most people would prefer to stay on the surface because it's easier.
Yes. And I want to piggyback off you. And I think a part of that is one, people do not want to be offended. Two, people don't want to cause offense. And the third thing is making it to where
Mm,
they don't want that confrontation, right?
hmm.
So people
Yeah,
rather carry on than to have these type of conversations,
right.
right? Right. It's and when you don't have these type of conversations, coach, what you have is assumptions, and those assumptions lead to greater problems that could have been avoided if there was a conversation had. Right?
Sure, sure. There's power in conversation. I
Mhm.
totally agree with that. I think people are used to two people picking a side and just chopping each other's heads off rather than
Yes.
talking about, hey, well, can we agree to disagree? Like right now, if me and you were going back and forth, I mean, it would be insane the amount of people that would come in and pick a side or jump on a side, right? So let's rock the boat a little bit, right?
Hmm.
Let's rock the boat a little bit. So what if a person comes and they're like, listen, my bodily health is intact, my spiritual health, I mean, my mental health is intact. What do
Mhm.
I need a spiritual health for? Like, what's the point? If my mental health is good, my bodily health is good, why do I need spirituality? Why can't I just be cool in the fact that all my boxes are checked? I'm good.
Because, coach, here's the reality. Here's the reality, Chase Christian, Nightbot, everybody that's in the chat. The reality is your bodily health and your mental health being good is amazing. It's awesome,
Hmm.
outstanding. The normal human's life expectancy is about like 80 to 85 to 90 years, right?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
That is so relatively small compared to eternity, if you
Hmm.
ask me. So, bodily and mentally health for those 80 to 85 years, that you'll be on the earth, that's great. But those 80 to 85 years that you'll be on earth doesn't even compare to eternity, right? So spiritual health doesn't even is not only just about now, it's also about the after. Because eternity is much longer than the 80 years that you've been here on earth, right? Again, I'm
What if they
happy
don't
that your
believe in
body,
that though? What if they don't believe in eternity?
they don't believe in eternity.
Yeah, like what if they say, I don't believe in eternity? Like I think when I go from here, I mean it's over.
So what if somebody said that they don't believe in eternity, is what you're asking me?
Right, right. Because remember, you're telling them like, hey, your 80 years doesn't compare to eternity. But if they say they don't believe in eternity, then they feel like the analogy you just gave doesn't apply to them.
So because they don't believe in it doesn't mean that it's not
Mhm.
going to happen.
Right,
However,
but why should they believe in it though? These are questions that agnostic, atheists, these are questions that are presented.
yeah,
Why should I believe in an eternity? And I'm only basing it off the argument you just presented. Otherwise,
yeah,
I wouldn't have asked. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But if they say, "Hey, you're saying I need spirituality based off eternity," well, guess what? I
Mhm.
don't believe in eternity. Next argument. Why do I need spirituality? I don't believe in eternity. Next argument.
You need spirituality because you need to draw on something that is greater than yourself, um, in times of good and in times of bad. You can have
Gotcha.
great you can have great body health and great thank you, Lord. You can have great body health and great mental health, right?
Yeah.
But what's inevitable for the person who believes in a God and for the person who does not believe in a God is that there are good times and that there are bad times. And in
Yes.
both,
That's a
you need to
fact.
draw from something greater than yourself. So you need spirituality because you cannot rely on bodily, mental health, and emotional health
Mm,
to be
that's
that
good.
well for you in the time of need.
That's good. That's good. So like something to sustain you, whether
Yes.
the good, the bad, or the ugly. Almost
Yes.
like I found a way to be in lack and a way to also live in plenty. I can do
Yes.
all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me.
Same to me.
That kind of
Yep.
thing.
That kind
For
of thing.
sure. For sure. I'm asking these tough questions because I want your brain to exercise on these.
Yeah.
Because guess what? In the times that we live in, cliche answers, and I'm not saying yours was cliche. I'm just
Yeah.
saying cliche answers don't answer the question because people have already found ways to get around these
To get
questions. Hey, I
yeah.
don't believe in any of that. Why are you presenting me that? Why do I need spirituality if I don't believe in an afterlife? And
Yeah.
then you have to say, okay, you don't believe in an afterlife. They do believe in the now. That's
Yeah.
one thing they do believe in because it's in
Yeah.
front of them. They're living it. What is something that I can connect to the now that would be relevant to this person that doesn't believe in the later?
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying?
that makes sense. Yeah. That's
Let me
what you mean
grab
by
these
kind of
couple.
meeting that middle ground.
Right. When you're having these conversations, like when I'm having these conversations, I don't go, I'm a Christian, right? But
Yeah.
I don't go straight biblical on people that don't believe Bible. I think it doesn't make sense. You
Yeah.
don't believe the Bible. I believe the Bible. You don't believe the Bible. I'm not gonna come and hit you over the head with scripture because if I do, it's not going to connect with you because you don't believe in it. I need to
mm,
talk to you about things that we agree on. We agree on
mm,
that science exists. We
mm.
also agree that nature exists. All right, now we can have a conversation on why does it exist?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Why
No.
does it exist? Because if I can talk about why it exists, me and you can meet in the middle and have great dialogue. But if
Yes.
I'm only talking about my spiritual book and I'm hitting you over the head with my spiritual book, we're going to get nowhere fast
Mm.
because I'm giving you something you don't believe in. Let me find out what we both believe in and let's talk about that.
And that is true. And
You know what I'm saying?
that was perfectly said.
Yes, sir. Let me read a
Yeah.
couple of these comments.
Hmm.
He says, if they don't believe in it, I feel sad for them. I feel like being human, everyone kind of questions about the afterlife. We are curious people. You're right about that, Chase Christian. You're 100% right about that.
Yeah.
Fourth wall, what's going on, my brother? How you feeling, man? Good to see you, bro. All right. Another one says, I don't know if everyone thinks the same, but I feel like our soul is connected to space and time, and there's definitely other worlds out there. Earth is so small compared to the universe. Got you, got you. Chase Christian, let me ask you a question. Are you a theist, meaning you believe in a God? Are you an atheist, which is no God, or are you agnostic? You're not sure. And I'm only asking you because I don't want to assume.
Not real.
You know what I
Man.
mean? I don't want to assume. I rather just know and then be able to talk about it. Fourth wall, we're doing pretty good, man.
Yes, sir.
We're doing pretty good, man. We
We doing
just we
well.
just go ahead, JT.
No, I'm saying, yeah, we're doing well. Just going over, if we need spirituality, is spirituality important? Why do people try to dodge spirituality? And having a conversation about it. Because again, we cannot stop having these conversations.
No,
We
it's
can't.
needed, especially in our
Yeah.
world today.
Oh yeah.
Conversation is becoming problematic in our world today. You can't speak your mind without someone wanting to just like people hate people
Yeah.
because they disagree with them, and I think it's weak. I think our society is getting weaker when it comes to being able to talk. How do you hate somebody you don't even know? That is a lack of spiritual health.
Yeah.
If you hate someone you don't know, it's a lack of spiritual health.
Yeah.
How can you have so much animosity towards someone you don't know?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
That's crazy.
That makes no sense at all. Okay, so since I grew up Catholic, but I know God is within me and all of his people, more spiritual and living to focus on more spiritual and living to focus on my spiritual journey. Got it. Got it. Got it. Understood. Understood. All right, JT. We rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we
So
rolling.
he's
Exactly.
okay.
And
So go ahead. I'm listening.
no problem. And I was gonna continue with saying, so when it comes to spirituality, you have people, right? And this is a question
Mhm.
for you, and kind of like how you're playing the advocate. I want to play advocate for you, like we said, rock the boat a little
Sure.
bit, right? You have
Sure.
someone come up to
Rock the
you,
boat.
they're like, "Yo, Coach Will, I mean, for the most part, my life is great. My parents left me a Roth IRA. I'm financially well off. I'm doing successful with the business that my dad left me. This, that, and the
Hmm.
third. What exactly do I need to draw on? I have the money, I have the home, I have the cars. I'm in shape, right? I'm mentally, I feel like I'm mentally clear. I go to the gym, I eat healthy, right? And you see a lot of that. I don't know how many are familiar with YouTube Shorts or stuff like that, but back about
Yeah.
2 years ago, don't know if you guys ever heard of it, like the guy Andrew Tate when he was going like on a generational run, right? He was all talking about, get money, be successful, right? Do all of those things, right?
Hmm.
And he didn't really talk about the spirituality of it. So people in the comments, they're saying like, yeah, man, like, right, just do all the things that you can do right now. Why do I need that? So a person
Yeah.
who has experienced that type of success, why do they need spirituality? Right?
Mhm. Why do they need spirituality?
Yeah.
I don't think is I don't think success is the same as spiritually healthy.
Mm.
And I'll tell you what I mean by that. most of the things that we would call success, they're all they're usually exterior. They're usually
Mhm,
we see a material thing, something that is plastic or paper or aluminum, and we say, hey, because you have X amount of this, this should be not only success, but this should also make you happy, make you feel fulfilled, et cetera, et
mhm,
cetera. I think you can check all the boxes financially, whether it be investments, business, property, and still not be spiritually fulfilled. And what I mean by
mm,
that is because you have a lot, it doesn't mean that you feel like you have meaning, and it
mhm,
doesn't mean that you feel like you know what you're supposed to be doing here on earth
mhm,
or even have a connection to that. And per what I believe, I think all human beings, if they were honest with themselves, they would all realize that they all want to know what's the meaning of life. These are the two questions that always come. What is the meaning of life, and what am I supposed to be doing with this life?
yeah,
And I don't
mhm,
think success answers that question.
mm,
I think success can be a part of the question, but I
mhm,
don't think it answers the question fully. And how do I know that? I'm glad you asked. We see a whole bunch of people in society that are prominent, that are successful,
mhm,
yet they're on antidepressants. Some of them are committing suicide, unhealthy relationships. Why do they check every box from a success standpoint, yet they still feel empty inside? Right?
that is true.
Why are rich people depressed if they're checking all the boxes? Now, some would say it's their
Mm,
mental health, right? Some would say it's their mental health. Well, you just told me checking all the boxes should make my mental health intact because I got
yeah,
everything. I got the body, I got the clothes. I mean, I got the body, I got the clothes, I got the house, I got the cars. Why is it that I still feel like something is missing? I think
mm,
most human beings, if they were honest with themselves, they would say that they feel like something is missing, even if they check all the boxes.
wow. That is so profound, man. Like you put it in a perspective that, I hope a lot of people in the chat got to hear. Like you have celebrities, people who have everything. They still are in domestic trouble, drug abuse trouble, all different type of things. But it's like, and people who are not celebrities or rich, they always ask, man, if I had that money, I wouldn't be acting like that. Or if I had that money, I would have done something better with my time. But sometimes maybe the worldly success distracts you from the need of spiritual health,
Right.
right? So when people always say
Yeah.
that, they don't know until they're in that position making $100 million, $200 million, $300 million, right? We just don't
Right.
know because sometimes I guess when you get in everything is going and everything like that, you like
Right.
you don't pay attention to that because what's supplementing you? The cars, you got new
Right.
cars, you got a nice house, right? You get
Right.
great cooked meals, you have the best home gym like in your you know what I'm saying? So I
It's
think
funny, bro.
sometimes they try to substitute those things with the need for spiritual health.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me read a couple of these comments, and then we'll keep going. It says, working on my spiritual journey, meaning why do I have certain relationships in my life? What lessons am I supposed to learn from people that I meet? How can I be there for others? Love it, Chase. Sounds like you're thinking outside of yourself. Fourth Wall said spiritual success. That's right. Spiritual success is just like mental success, mental health success, or physical success. It's just another part of the man. I believe that human beings are a trichotomy. They have a body, a soul, and a spirit. And I think that we can be whole when we try to achieve health on all three levels.
Mm.
Are the spirit and the soul the same? Who's that question for?
That question's for that question's in the chat. Let me see.
Oh,
Johnson
okay.
I asked, our spirit and
That's you, ain't it,
soul
bro?
the same. Yeah.
What's going on, Jazz?
Oh, this guy's funny.
No, she said
That question's
100%
for you.
well said.
That question is for you though, because
Is the
but I'm
spirit and
asking on
the
the behalf of chat.
okay? Is the spirit and the soul the same?
Yeah. Like what's the difference between
Not
a spirit and a soul?
not biblically, they're not. Um, so when you look at, so there's diagrams of what the body, the soul, and the spirit mean, right? The body
Hmm.
is the physicality, right?
Yeah.
And the spirit is pretty much the mind.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It's pretty much your thoughts, your emotions, your subconscious, right? You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then your soul is what is connected to a higher power.
Okay. Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So the first two are within you, and the last one is kind of within but without, if that makes sense.
Within, but without.
So within but without, meaning including God.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. I'm on
Right.
two.
So the first two are internal,
Hmm.
and the other one is internal, but not just internal. It's also external, meaning with God.
That makes sense. I
You
think we got
understand what I'm saying?
another. I think we got another comment in the chat.
Miss White
Um,
says it'll never be enough. I think she was commenting on
Does physical
the
success?
success. Yes, yes, the success. Jazz says 100% very well said. We appreciate you for that. A lot of people sleep on, let's see what Chase Christian says. A lot of people are sleep that we, a lot of people are asleep that we are spiritual beings living in a human
Hmm.
experience and just focus on their physical journey. I feel like that can lead to unhappiness. Totally agree with that. I think, to be honest with you, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the world is in chaos because a lot of people are not spiritually healthy. If you're spiritually healthy, you're not angry at people you don't know.
No. If you're
Don't
spiritual
make
healthy,
sense.
you're having conversations instead of acting out of violence.
Correct. Correct.
It's
It
true.
says and being spiritual doesn't look one way either. You can go outside, walk the dog, and have a spiritual moment, you know. Very true, Chase. I don't think that it is one way. I don't think it's one way. Now, I will say this. This is the reason why people get confused because they're like, if it's not one way, then how do I? So let me ask you, Chase Christian, how do I connect with this God that you believe in, Chase Christian? How do I connect with the God that you believe in? Jazz, by the
Mm,
way, the link is it should be in the description, Jazz. Do you see the link in the description, Jazz? Let me know if you see the link in the description.
I think that's
But he
important too. That's a good
go
question
ahead.
that you asked, Chase. It's just
Hmm.
like the accessibility of God, right? I think that
Hmm.
God is too major, too infinite. Again, words like omnipotent, meaning all knowing, he's everywhere at one time. For there to be constraint ways in accessing him or talking to him or speaking to him, right?
Hmm.
Right? If you're assuming that you have to go to church and that's the only way you can access God, that is a fallacy, right?
Okay.
Right? If you're
Now
assuming,
you are causing a little fire there. But go ahead.
yeah, so if we're assuming that we only have to get down on our knees to pray to God, and we can't pray maybe when we're in the shower, or we can't talk to God in the shower, like Chase Christian was saying, talk to God while you're walking your dog, talk to God while driving to work. What you
Hmm.
do is you start to, you know, put God in a box, right?
Uh
When
huh.
God should be accessed in all appropriate avenues from as many people as possible, right? When it comes to accessing God, talking to God, spending time reading your Bible. I don't think there should be some type of, you know, status quo to it, right? It needs to
Hmm.
be find God where you're at, right? If you're
Hmm.
in Virginia, if you're in the slums, if you're in a penthouse, if you're in the ocean, if you're in the pool, wherever you're at, find God where you're at. If you're in the desert, right? If you're in the Alps find God.
Ah, that's powerful, bro. That's powerful. That's
Oh,
powerful.
dang it. I'm sorry, Jess.
Let me. No, that's powerful. Let me see. Using these big words. I think I read
Sorry.
that comment. The link is there. Hit the link, Jazz, if you can. Hit the link. Goblin 954. What's up, brother? How you doing,
Yes,
man?
sir. What's up, Gobble?
How you doing? Uh, let's see. Chase Christian says, me growing up in church, I know that God is within us first. And when you know that your relationship with God is your relationship. However you connect to spirituality is up to you. Okay.
So I have a question
So go ahead.
for Chase. Well, Chase
Mhm.
Chris, I have a question for you. Is God in every human being, or is God in every human being that believes in him?
Mm,
And I know the reason I'm asking
that's a
is
good
because I
question.
know like some people I just want to see like where your mind is at with it. Some people believe that God is in everybody, whether you believe in him or not, or some people
Mhm.
believe that God is within you, but you have to have that relationship with him.
That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I just wanted your take on it. Yeah.
Is God in everybody? Huh. Huh.
All right.
That's
All right.
that's a good question.
I mean, he
Um,
created all of us, right? So it's not a bad question to
right now,
ask.
that's a good question. That's a really really good question. I'm dying to hear the answer. To be honest with you, because I think that a lot of people ask this question, and I think that it's important to talk about it and define it. Woo. He says, JT, that's deep. I do believe God is in us, all of us, but I do believe the devil has kids too. Oh my goodness, Chase.
Mm.
Wow, Chase,
Mm.
you coming out with bangers this evening, brother. You
Oh,
sound like
read that
Jazz.
again. Yeah.
Jazz was saying that earlier. He was coming out with bangers too. Go ahead and read that, bro.
It says, I think he is in every human. It's all about whether you seek him out, but he will always be there, kind of like your conscience.
Got you. Okay, Jazz. Jazz, I got a question for you. Hit the link. I got a question for you.
I mean, it is an interesting take. I mean, I know people with a modern gospel mindset would have some pushback on those claims.
Uh-huh.
Um, they would suggest to Chase or Jasmine, they would ask a question like, well, if the God that you serve is in everyone, right,
Hmm.
and has been in everyone since the beginning of time, right?
Right.
Why did was it the God inside of Adolf Hitler that made him produce the Holocaust, right?
Jeez
But
Louise.
that's what they would ask. They would
My goodness.
ask,
You
you
guys
know,
are you guys are deep, bro.
they would ask, was it Jeffrey Dahmer? Was it the God that we serve that's in Jeffrey Dahmer when he was taking people and doing all type of things to them, and Ted
Chase
Bundy and
Christian, what do you think about that? My bad, bro.
so
Keep going.
no, you're
What do you
good.
think
No,
about
I'm just
that?
saying that's what modern gospel people would ask. Like, if that's the case.
Well, I think that coincides with how the fact that he says that the devil got kids too.
Yeah.
He did
So
say that.
so that's why I think that
So then he can't be in everybody if the devil's got kids too, then.
exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Right. So if he has kids, Chase, then how can God be in everybody if it's the devil's kids?
And I think, and just to add something, I
Listen,
think the
I be
beautiful thing
trying to
about it,
stay baseline. I be trying to stay baseline. Y'all be going deep, bro. Like y'all
see,
be
so,
going super deep, bro.
and look at what Fourth Wall said. Fourth Wall says, God isn't everyone who wants a relationship with him, but he doesn't force you to be with him. And I think the beautiful thing about spirituality as well, coach, is that unlike in the natural, where you cannot choose your parent, in the
Hmm.
spiritual, you can.
Ooh, y'all,
You see what I'm
wow.
saying?
Yeah, bro. Dang, bro. That's deep. So,
That's pretty
so,
cool. That's pretty
so
cool if you
even
ask
if
me.
I don't believe in spirituality, I could,
Go ahead, ask that
I could
question. It's
still,
about to be
I could,
juicy.
even if I don't believe in spirituality, why? If I don't believe in spirituality, why is it any kids that? Why is it any parent I have to choose? Why can't I just be in my own lane, mind my own
Be-
business?
because the choices that you make are based off of your actions. See,
Oh gosh.
the beautiful thing about God is, right, is he doesn't force anybody to believe in him, to love him, or to repent to him, right? So people be like, "Oh, if your God is so loving, why would he send people to hell? Why would he send people to be damned?" But the reality is God doesn't send people to those places, to that area. We do when we choose to be separate from him through our actions, right? So, because guess
Mm-hmm.
what? You want to know the reality, coach, in chat? You can be a
Mm-hmm.
philanthropist. You could donate your kidney, right? You could, you could, you could give back to charity, and but if you never check the box of spiritual health, there might be a chance that, you know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say. I mean,
So maybe you changed that what?
there may be a chance at, you know, being separated from being separated from the from God. That's the
So
reality.
okay. So I mean, that sounds like okay, that sounds like scary stuff. Like, oh, if you don't believe, this, and this. But I guess, the question is like, why do I still need it? You're saying I need it because if I don't do it, bad things are gonna
No.
happen to me?
Oh, no, 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 no. That was for something different. No, I wasn't answering that question. But if you're
Okay.
asking it still why you need it, it still goes back to that thing of drawing on that well, right? It is drawing on that well. But I thought we were talking about what Church Christian was saying about God has kids, the devil has kids.
Okay, I got you. I
And
got you. I got you.
I thought you were asking if I'm doing my own thing, why do I have to choose? So I was basically
Look at
saying that you
Jazz.
choose through
Look
your
at Jazz.
actions.
Right.
Yeah.
Jazz, Jazz, crazy, bro. No, but you're right though. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Chase Christian says they gotta want a relationship with God. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So Chase, Fourth Wall, JT, Stephanie, um,
Jazz.
Jazz. Like JT was saying earlier, if my money is good, if my health is good, if my kids are good, if business is good, why do I need to explore that if I don't feel like I need it?
Mm,
Why do I need to explore spirituality if I don't feel like I need it? That was actually what happened in the conversation earlier. He didn't say he was rich or nothing, but he
hmm
said that why do I need spirituality if I don't feel like I need it? Like I was nurtured. I have things in order how they need to be. Why do I need to have spirituality if I don't feel like I need it? Dang, Jazz with another banger. This is what she told him earlier. This is what she told him earlier, bro.
Because death is guaranteed. It's
Jeez
true.
Louise.
And you know what? I don't think Jazz was here when you asked me the question because I was kind of alluding to that, right? I was kind of alluding to, you know, um, whether you believe in a God or whether you don't believe in a God, there's an afterlife. But you were saying, what if they don't believe in an afterlife? So maybe you could explain that, re-explain that for Jazz on what if they don't believe in, like they only care about the now, right? They could care less what happens when they die, right? Even if death is guaranteed.
Right. So I think that person say that question again because you said, what if they don't believe in the afterlife?
Yeah, because Jazz put death is guaranteed. But remember when I mentioned that earlier, you were saying that they only focus on the now. So they don't really care what happens after death,
Mm,
even if death is guaranteed. So I was saying if
yeah.
you could explain that again, because I don't think Jasmine was here when you were
Right.
explaining
So
that.
Jazz, my question would be, what if they don't care about death? Like what if they say, hey, I don't believe in an afterlife, so why would I have to care about death being guaranteed? When I die, it's over and I move on with life.
Hmm.
That would be a question for Jazz.
Yeah, that's a good
You
question.
won't Fourth Wall says you won't have a relationship with God. I'm not sure what he's responding to. Are you?
You won't have a relationship. I'm trying to think. Were we talking about the afterlife? Wait, first of all, can you explain what you were saying again? Because we were talking about the afterlife and death. Maybe we missed something
Right.
that we
Probably did miss something. Yeah, let us
yeah.
know what you're saying, Forth. Um, Chase Christian says the devil allows people's lives to be comfortable so they feel like they don't need Jesus. At the end of the day, it's your choice, your soul. I feel bad for people who are asleep. Oh my goodness.
Mm,
And
that's
what
crazy. Yo,
Chase be
yo,
sounding
Chase.
open, and but he hit you with a banger right after that. He'd be like, "Nah, you can make a choice,
Yo,
right?
Chase.
But your
What does it mean
choice
to
is
be
gonna have
sleep?
consequences, brother."
What does it mean to be sleep? What does that
Right,
mean?
right. What does it mean to be
That look
sleep?
you sound good.
Yeah, what does it mean to be
What does he?
sleep, bro? That's a good
Yeah,
question.
put us on that terminology because that may be a young buck terminology we're not familiar with.
Right. A poor person, a poor woke person is way better than a wealthy sleep person. I like that. Now just define woke for us because there's a lot of definitions of that.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy too? This is for you, Chase. I don't know if you realize, but a lot of the stuff that you're saying comes from like biblical standpoints, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I'm not familiar if you read the holy, like the Christian Holy Bible, but it's kind of funny how a lot of the stuff you say sounds similar to some of the scripture, right? A
Right.
poor, what do you say? A poor spiritual
A,
person
a
is
poor
better.
woke person
Woke
is better
person.
than a rich sleep person
Mm.
or a wealthy sleep person.
Oh,
There was a
jazz.
question you asked earlier about a guy that has everything. Oh, okay, fourth wall.
Oh yeah.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that, fourth. Jazz said, well, that's on them. I feel terrible for people who think that way, but at the end of the day, if they turn their cheek to God, then he will turn his to you when the only other option. Oh my goodness. Jazz, listen, man, I didn't even know life with Jazz talk like this. I really didn't.
Nah, she Trilla
I'm
Manila.
telling you, Jazz has a channel called Life with Jazz, and I thought it was somewhere over the rainbow. Like,
Uh,
what is that? Julie Garden? Somewhere over the rainbow. That's what I thought. Little did I know, Trilla.
Manila.
Chase Christian says, people who focus on the physical world and don't care about spirituality are asleep on life. Life is a
Mm,
journey, and a part of that is a spiritual journey. You're asleep if you're not thinking. Chase Christian
mm.
always got the bangers. Listen, I can't wait for Chase Christian to be able to. We got to do this one day when you're not working, so you
Yeah,
can come up here, man. I'm sure it'll be a fun time, man.
facts.
Jazz, did you find it? Look, Jazz, don't run from the hot seat, Jazz. Uh, Chase, let me read some of these comments. Jazz, you laughing? Um, Chase says, kind of like common sense. Some people are very book smart with no common sense. So, do you think spirituality is common sense, Chase? Jazz says, I'm running from my kids. Do you think spirituality is common sense, or do you think that, like, do you think every human, if they weren't fighting with themselves, would say, "Hey, there has to be a spirituality"?
You said if humans were not fighting with themselves,
Right, like if
like with each
humans
other.
weren't battling within themselves,
Oh,
or without, or with others, but if humans were to like to be in a quiet space without distractions, do you think that they would conclude that there is a spiritual world out there? What do you think?
you know, I don't know. But I think that the battle might be a part of the process. You forementioned this earlier. You said that most people realize that they need to tap into their spirituality in tragedy and in
Uh huh.
downfall and in catastrophe. So maybe depending on the situation, maybe that battle within is what turns people to spirituality, right? I mean,
Mm,
it's sad that it has to be like that, but I mean, you said a great point earlier. You said most people be like, I gotta lock in, I gotta find God, I gotta talk to God. some type of catastrophe happened, some type of tragedy has occurred. So maybe that battle within is a part of the process, is what I'm thinking,
Uh-huh.
right? Maybe that's it, right? Again, if
I
people are
get what you're saying.
distracting themselves with the pleasures of this world, I don't really see them tapping into spirituality.
Got you. Until it becomes not enough. Because I told you I
Yeah,
had that experience where I was tapping into. I mean, it wasn't nothing too crazy, but
yeah,
I was checking the boxes.
yeah.
I was checking the boxes in good shape.
Is it?
I was checking
Yeah.
the boxes. I had a good position. I had a car. I had a car, my own place. I was 21, 22. I was good. I was checking most of the boxes at 22 that a lot of people weren't checking. Just it was just circumstantial. You know, worked hard and got to a place where I was checking the boxes. It took for a day for me to be laying up in the house by myself. I think I was probably having a drink and I stared at the ceiling, right?
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, I made it. I checked all my boxes. I got the place I wanted. I got
Hmm.
I was checking all the boxes. And it took for one day. I'm a little buzzed. I'm laying back. I'm looking at the ceiling. And I'm like, man, I worked so hard to get to this place. And it's nowhere near the joy that I thought I would have if I got to this place.
Mm.
It was like a really empty place to get to your goals. Um, all the goals that you set, you get to them and you just feel empty, bro. Like you just feel like I long for this thing that's not really it's not really fulfilling.
Right. No, not at all.
So, you know, it hold on, there's
Hold
some
on, there's some
feedback.
feedback.
You got something up, bro? Okay, it went away. It went away.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, did you change the audio?
Wait, wait, hold on. Testing.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, something had changed for a little while.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, let's catch some of these comments real quick. It says people
Yeah.
make it sound like talking about afterlife is taboo, but that's just why it should be spoke about. Because if it makes you uncomfortable, then there might be something you should talk to God about.
Bam.
Look at Jazz with another banger. Chase Christian. Oh, by the way, Chase, I saw your comment. Chase said he gonna be off in the afternoons or the evenings when his new schedule comes out. Bam,
Yes,
bam, boom.
sir.
You heard me? New
Yes, sir.
Orleans. It goes back to knowing that God is within us. I feel like nobody can tell you about your relationship to God. It's common sense to ourselves how we interact with the higher power. I like that too. I like that as well. Fourth wall says with spirituality, you become more aware. I like that too. I like that too, fourth. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see it. Okay.
Definitely. So, you know what? I'm gonna be heading out because I got some other things to do on my agenda, but it was a pleasure being on the stream once again for Open Minds and Open Lines. Again, this was a
Yes,
great
sir.
conversation about spirituality. I appreciate Chase Christian, Jasmine, Fourth Wall, Miss White
Yes,
chiming
sir.
in. And guess what? If you're still gonna be on live, I'm gonna continue watching from my phone. So you might see
Yeah.
me in chat typing some stuff up. All right.
Yeah. We'll see
All
you in
right.
chat, man. We're gonna bring somebody. We'll see who else can come on up, man. I
Yes,
appreciate you,
sir.
man. Appreciate you tapping in,
Exactly.
nephew.
Appreciate the invite. All right,
Much
man.
love, baby. Hey, sign off
Yes,
right,
sir.
bro.
Oh,
Let's go.
let's go. Let's bro.
Love it,
Let's
bro.
go.
Love it, man.
Yes, sir. All right.
I see you.
Peace.
Peace, bro. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay, let me make sure I catch these comments. Some people think Erica Badu is crazy for going through a spiritual journey, but hey, it's a spiritual journey. And it's just as real as a nun in a church or a teenager chilling on the couch. Got you, man. Everybody is different, Chase. I agree with that. Totally, totally agree with that. He says, I see the family resemblance. That's funny, fourth wall. You funny, man. You funny, funny, funny. Jazz, where you at? The lines are open, y'all. Don't be shy. Come and have dialogue. The lines are open. The lines are open. We're making dialogue normal, regardless of differences we may have. Let's make dialogue normal. Healthy dialogue is normal. It's not a superpower. Healthy dialogue is not a superpower. We need to make it normal again, y'all. Oh, that your nephew? Heck yeah, yeah, it was my nephew. Um, I don't know if you know some of the music that I listen to in the morning. You hear somebody rapping. That's his rap. It is actually spiritual rap, so it's not mainstream rap. But when you hear certain songs where you hear somebody rapping, it's him. You know what I mean? Vibe King, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Listen, the lines are open. Somebody jump on so we can continue the conversation. Whether it be Vibe King, somebody jump on so we can continue the conversation. Because, oh, you're doing great, man. That's what's up, bro. Glad to hear it. Oh, awesome. That's what I need. That's what you need. Making dialogue great. Make dialogue great. Yeah, I see in our world that dialogue has become very trivial. Like people can agree to disagree without having hate. She said, MDGA, make dialogue great again. Something like that for real. We need to do that, y'all. We need to do that. You know? Vibe King says, I finally, you mean like you finally made it? He doesn't seem like a rapper. I see him owning two businesses. So he only did a couple songs, a couple Christian songs during COVID. It was something to do during COVID whenever I was locked up. So he doesn't really do it anymore. But I use his music when I'm streaming and stuff like that. But yes, I finally feel alive again. Vibe King, did you change your name? What was your name before? Because I don't remember you not feeling alive, bro. What was wrong? But yeah, we need to be able to do that. That's why we do open lines, open minds, so that we can have dialogue. But I need to listen more. I need to listen more to not gangster rap. So, Jazz, let me ask you this. Do you think that, oh, thank you. Thank you, Chase Christian. Vibe King says, and learn how to use the word no. Oh, that's what's up. I remember you now, bro. You learn how to use the word no. I remember you. Chase Christian, Jazz, do you think that gangster rap can affect your spirituality? Can gangster rap affect your spirituality? Yes or no? And tell me why. Remember when we talked about using the word no, Vibe King, man? I remember, bro. Appreciate you, man. I remember. Using the word no is powerful, man. But so Jatana says, of course, okay. Vibe King says, yes, it can affect. Tell me how, fellas, how can it affect your spirituality? I like y'all, man. Y'all be thinking, y'all ain't shy. Y'all just go for the, you know, y'all just go for it. I'm trying to get these kids to settle down. I got you. I got you. I got you. Yeah, tell me, how can I had a buddy who told me that it can only affect you if you're easily affected. But if you're just listening to the beat, if you just like the tone, it doesn't really affect you. You just listen and turn it up in your car, but no real big issue with it. What y'all think? I mean, I have my theory, but I'm not trying to make y'all know. I have my theory. Okay, some give negative vibes and can make you think differently. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Chase Christian says that's a deep question too. Yes, because music can affect people's action, but also I feel like it's more of an influence. Influences can be negative and positive. Okay, okay. I like that too. I like that too. I like that too. Jazz says, "Oh, I'm sure it can. I'm sure it can, but if it doesn't change you or anything, then I mean, I don't know. I don't see a problem with it." You say if it doesn't change you, I would ask you the question: how do you know it doesn't change you? Like, what would be the evidence that it's not changing? What would be the evidence that, hey, this is not changing me? I'm just listening to it. It's enjoyable. I'm bumping. I'm having a great time. I think music is very influential. You could see that with many different genres, not just gangster rap. Okay, Jatanai says I listened to Rod Wave every day in high school because he's a great artist, but I realized that his music made me want to be intentionally sad, unprovoked. Oh my goodness! So he just made you sad just because he has a sad undertone in his music. Wow, wow, that's powerful. Like our people during slavery would sing in the fields to keep their faith strong. People play music at parties to have a fun vibe. It definitely, it can definitely make an impact. Okay, so is it something that we should be aware of when it comes to what we listen to, or is that just too deep? Should we have an awareness about it, or is that too deep? Maybe if I wanted to shake my everywhere I go and light up a blunt every time I get in the car, it's got to be all that. we we don't realize. Oh my goodness. We don't realize if we keep listening to gangster rap, it desensitizes our brain to sex without marriage, drug usage, the need for a gun, and feeling of disrespecting authority, etc. Oh my goodness. It does all that. Jazz says that's what them songs talk about. So let me ask you this. If that's what they talk about, then what makes you listen to them? Just out of curiosity. I think your music preference is a reflection of your personality. Hey, Chase, you be going super deep, Chase. But I like it though. Fourth wall said, Jasmine, what? Yeah, Jazz be just speaking her mind, unfiltered, unfiltered. Um, so if it does affect you, well, I guess Jazz is saying that unless she is perpetuating the song, then she doesn't see a problem with it. Jatana is saying, Like popping pills is cool now to teenagers. Young adults walk around praying for a reason to shoot someone. Like young adults walk around praying for reasons, spending loads of money on chains, disrespecting the police. Okay, so what about a person like Jazz though, Jatana? Jazz is saying, Jazz is saying, I'm a grown woman, man. I ain't thinking about popping no pills. I ain't thinking about hurting nobody. I'm just trying to raise my kids. What they got to do with me? What you say to that? What say you, my brother? According to YouTube, I listen to music that pumps me up. Listen to music that pumps you up. What kind of music is that for? I don't listen to them anymore, really, but I used to. Oh, you stopped listening to them, Jazz? What made you stop? Because a lot of times people say it's the younger generation that's influenced by the music, not so much the older generation or like, around our age. I don't want my kids hearing that kind of stuff for all the reasons that have been spoken about. Got you. So even though it may not be influencing you per se, you don't want it influencing your kids because they're very young and young kids are very impressionable. I totally, totally get that. So the answer to the question would be that music does affect our spirituality, even if it's not as expensive as, even if it's not as expressive as what I mentioned before. Gangster rap still instills aggression and inappropriate language that still affects adults who may not be as influenced as teenagers. Hmm. That's very, very interesting as well. Very, very interesting. Jazz says 100%. Fourth Wall says, I don't know the general term, but mostly instrumental. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. My rap changed. I used to listen to rap, hardcore rap at one point, and I started to realize it's hard for me to be spiritual. Me personally, I can't speak for nobody else. I'm speaking for me. I can't listen to or try to be spiritual or try to get better. And then I get in the car after I just, had a moment of meditation or I got into some scripture. I can't get off of that and jump in the car and listen to a song like WAP. I can't do it. It don't work for me. Now, for those that are able to do it, God bless you. I can't do it. I can't get from, hey, I just had a moment with the Lord. I feel like I'm at peace. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm focusing, I'm locking in, and then I get in the car and I turn up WAP and I'm bumping, man, 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 and guess what? Um, I don't think I can carry out the meditation that I just experienced. I don't think I can do it. I don't think it's conducive to where I'm trying to go. Like the fact that there's a song called WAP, I mean, we in bad shape, y'all. That I haven't heard some of those words that they say in them songs. I mean, for goodness sake, WAP. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, man. I think it's not really influential to the older generation because they didn't grow up with social media. But the older I get, the more I realize the older generation is just as off as us. Yes, yes, they're influenced too. It's just differently. It may just be like microaggression or uh, uh, micro lust, if you will. I do love me some Ryan Upchurch though. He ain't too bad. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who Ryan Upchurch is. Y'all ever seen a gangster for Jesus? Um, Peter, Peter, Peter was. I know people who listen to gangster rap and they either about that life or don't know what their life about. It's not a sustainable genre. It just cycles from young generation to the next. I agree with that. I agree with that. And plus, there's other options too, right? I think if you're trying to be more spiritual, you have to be. cognizant of what is going inside of you. Like what's going inside of your spirit. I think when we, you know how we focus on what we're eating and stuff, like we're trying to stay away from certain foods. I think part of your intake should be your music. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't want to eat certain foods because they're processed or got too much sugar, what do you think about the music that's going in your ears and that you're watching as you're scrolling? I think some of that affects us too, guys. Just my opinion. God be looking at you like, I see you, boy. Yeah, that's right. Well, hey, he ain't got to look at me no more because I don't play it. I just noticed that it wasn't natural. It was unnatural. It's almost like flipping a button. Flip the button down, I'm spiritual. Flip the button up, I'm worldly. Who wants to be in a room where the lights flickering? Hey, I turn the light on, I'm spiritual. Turn the light off, I'm not spiritual. And you just flicker in the light every day, all day. Who wants to be in a room like that? I don't. I don't want to be in a room like that. They're influenced and believing everything on TikTok. Oh my God, my mom is almost like, oh, I seen this on TikTok where you can't. And I'm like, yeah, listen, TikTok got these old ladies twerking on TikTok. My wife was telling me the other day, she's like, why is the lady that is 75, 80 years old on TikTok twerking? Why? And I thought about it. I thought about it. We would never care to see an old lady in person twerking. We just wouldn't. But TikTok makes it where, hey, you can be old as long as you can twerk, you're going to get some publicity. It's almost like we are praising. And don't get me wrong, I can see how it could be funny and all that, right? It could be funny, right? It could be funny. But why? I don't want to see my grandma twerking on TikTok. Hello. It may be funny, but I don't want to see it. Hey, it's funny till it's your grandma. That's when it's funny. It's funny till your grandma the one dance. You know what I'm saying? Everybody laugh. Oh my goodness, that's funny. And then you scroll and you see your grandma doing it. You ain't laughing no more. You know what I'm saying? It ain't funny no more. Chase says, and a lot of people know God but don't fear him. Well, to be honest, Chase, I think if you don't fear him, you don't know him. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. My mama said she was going to throw her butt in a circle, no lie. I swear I thought I was going to. Really? On for TikTok? Oh my goodness. Mama, mama, mama. Fourth of all, you're supposed to live life like that, but a lot of people don't fear God. Yeah. Right. Yes, I think there's a scripture that says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I don't think you know. I think you know of. You can know of and not know. Now I know that's different for everybody, but you can know of and not know per se. You know what I mean? You can know of and not really know. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for TikTok, but either way, but that's a problem. That's probably where she got it from. Yes, it's easy to get famous. You just got to do something silly, man. Do something silly, and you're gonna get some press. That's how it goes. These kind of conversations, these kind of talks about actually growing as a person, um, these are not popular. People just want to have fun. And to me, growth is fun. I was telling my nephew this the other day. I was like, yeah, growing is fun. Like When you can grow and see your progress, it's fun to me. So you know of wisdom, but aren't really wise. Right. There you go, fourth wall. You know of wisdom, but you're not really wise. That is correct. That is correct. That is correct. You have the form, but you have no power. And don't even get me started with her cleaning hack she found on TikTok. There's a hack for everything on TikTok. TikTok is, and don't get me wrong, I can see how things are helpful for people. So I don't mind things that are helpful. That's cool. But this is the thing. This is the thing, to be honest. With everything that we just said, I think that all of that gets wrapped into desensitizing us to being better or becoming better people. I think it just makes everyone want to act a fool. Act a fool, get the views, and that's it. I think it encourages everyone to focus less on their spirituality and more of acting a fool to get the views. You know what I'm saying? Who needs spirituality? If you act a fool, you get the views, you get the paper, you're gonna be good. I think that's what it kind of makes people become. You know what I mean? So I think the general consensus of tonight was that spirituality is needed. That's kind of sticking with me. You know of wisdom, but not really wise. Yes, that's a fact. Listen, fourth wall, hopefully one day you can come up here and chop it up with us, fourth wall. I know that's not your thing, but hopefully one day you can come up and have a conversation and a dialogue. I know you like to chill in the chat, which is okay, no pressure. But I mean, let's plan for next Christmas or something like that. You know what I mean? But no pressure, no pressure, no pressure at all. But Chase Christian said that his evenings, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Chase Christian said that his evenings are going to be open, right? Okay, no problem, Jazz. Chase Christian said that his evenings are going to be open. And Jazz said that her Fridays are going to be open. So we'll be able to do open minds, open lines, and add to the roster, which will be beautiful, guys. So I'll be patient. I don't mind. I just like healthy dialogue and I like connecting with people that want to keep going, but also keep growing. That's dope. That's dope, Jazz. Between you, him, and nephew, we're gonna be able to have more dialogues. We'll just come up with topics that are relevant, and we're gonna be good, man. Like I said, make dialogue great again. That's right. Make dialogue great again. That's right. That's right. That's right. So look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna come up with another topic for the next one. We'll work on it. I think when it came to we're gonna have a big old convo. I think we have great conversation. Yes, yes, we do. We do. We do have great conversations. We do have great conversations because you know what? We have the right mindset behind conversation. We realize that it's not about who's right, it's about making it right with being able to talk and ask some tough questions. It's okay to ask tough questions. It's okay to be uncomfortable to grow. When I go to the gym and I work out, I'm not comfortable when I'm lifting weights. I'm putting my body in an uncomfortable position so that I can grow. That's what we're doing at the gym. You don't go to the gym because it just feels so good. No, you tell yourself it feels good so that you can get through it, but you're literally doing things that tear your muscle tissue, micro tears, not big tears, micro tears. And then guess what? With nutrition and sleep, you build your body up because you put it under that stress. It's healthy stress. The same kind of stress comes for our spirituality. It comes for healthy dialogue. You need these questions to challenge you. You understand what I'm saying? Because if it don't challenge you, it won't change you. It's fun talking about stuff that I don't usually talk about. Yes, yes. And this right here, Jazz, I think is what is needed. Community. Community. When you have community, guess what? Community builds strength because unity builds strength. Whole man therapy sessions coming soon. That's so funny. I do life coaching, and people say, "Man, this feels like a therapy session," except I'm hearing things that I didn't hear before. I'm like, life coaching is more future driven. Therapy is more past driven. So that's the main difference with therapy and life coaching. Life coaching is more goal oriented, and therapy is more what you went through, how to navigate what you went through. But that's funny though, for sure, for sure. So listen, um, we've been on for about an hour and 36. Could be therapy for someone. No, you're right about that, Jazz. You're right about that. You're right. Listen, the terms are interchangeable. As long as the person is growing and getting better, that's all that matters. That's the crux of the matter. Is the person growing? Is the person getting better? That's what we need to know. You know, that's the motive. So listen, I know everybody's tied up. Benefits are benefits. That's right. I know everybody's tied up, so they can't come on. Um, but I do really, really appreciate you coming through to open lines, open minds. Um, I would suffer a little more because I got to eat. I would suffer a little longer if we were having a live discussion. I would, but it's a good time to go eat because we just ate this good spiritual food with this great conversation. Um, so I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll all work on the next topic together as well, and we will present another topic, something hopefully something slightly controversial, but really allows us to really delve in and talk about things that are challenging, but things that help us to be better. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Oh no, you good, Jazz. Listen, I understand. It's all good. We're gonna make it happen. Listen, when it happens, it's gonna boom. So I'm excited about it. And I'm grateful for this conversation today. I think this is powerful. I think nephew, fourth wall, Jazz, Chase Christian, Stephanie. If I forgot you, uh, charge it to my head, not my heart. But I appreciate all you guys coming through, and we will do it again. We will do it again. So think about some topics that you want to talk about. We'll discuss it in Discord. We'll pick a topic, and yeah. But let's Discord talk about other topics, and we all can make this whole thing happen. Everybody come chat in Discord. There you go. There you go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. I'll see you guys in Discord. Jazz is going to lead the conversation. But I'll see y'all in Discord, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, Chase, if you want to join, just hit the link in the description. No pressure, but if it's something you want to do, it's there. And remember, no matter what you're going through, no matter how you feel, look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, let's go, let's grow. I see y'all in Discord, man. Much love. Salute.